Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sunny Side. I'm Sunny, and today we're going to talk all about Venus in Cancer. Alright, now before we start, just to let everyone know, this is a long video, so settle down, cruise in, fast forward if you like. I'm a professional astrologer, and I do write the horoscopes for some of the newspapers up here in Canada. And if you want a personal reading, just check it out in the description box below. And we have a number of reports and readings on sale for right now if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Oh, and please subscribe to the channel. Now, before we get started, I'm going to tell you what's going on today. I record these videos live on the channel, so we see. So if I get distracted by the chat, it's because people are asking me questions and we're going on. But again, these Venus videos are long videos, so settle in and enjoy the day. Remember, it's a beautiful day to be beautiful. It's together that makes it a beautiful day. And okay, so here's what's going on. So I have a bunch of different writings from different astrologers who talk about Venus in Cancer, and that's what we're going to look at today. So you get different perspectives about what's happening. Now, as we were talking about on the chat, it's important to be careful about to differentiate between the house and the sign. And Cancer is a sign of nurturing. They like to take care of other people in a very hands-on, are you okay, emotional kind of way. And once again, there's a difference between emotions and feelings, but we'll talk about that, and there are different types of emotions as well. In addition to that, but Cancer also rules the 4th house. So people think just because Cancer rules the 4th house is all about home and family. But if your Cancer sun is in the 10th house, or in the 9th house, you're going to want to travel a lot. You're going to be very expansive and not want to be tied down at the home at all, kind of Cancer. Or if Cancer is in the 11th house, you're going to be get out there and have a lot of friends and do stuff. It's very different. So it's important, but you're still going to be a nurturing kind of person. If Cancer, so it's important before we get into this to recognize that how we differentiate between the sun and between the sign and the house. And as we go through this, I'll explain it to you as I read everybody's interpretations to you. Now let's just look at the chart a little bit, and I'll explain a quick rundown on what's going on here. So this is what Venus looks like, and right now Venus is actually in Cancer. Now, people say so I'll tell you a quick rundown on the planets. First, the sun is who you are. Hey, if you're born right now, you're a Gemini. So you're a Gemini. You do Gemini things. You're you're into information. You might communicate. You might be slow to make decisions. Change your mind very quickly. You look at the different sides of things. Libra looks at the different sides of arguments as well, but they look at it differently than Gemini. Gemini is a communication thing. Gemini is a restless sign, so that's what your sun. But okay, and then the moon is what you want to do. So the sun is who you are. The moon is what you want to do. So this person might be, if they're born right now, oh, my nose is itchy. Someone's picking on me. If you're born right now, you're Gemini, but your moon's in Capricorn. So this is who you are, but the moon is what you want to do. It's where you want to be. So often you're like, oh, I'm like this in life. I'm always at home. I'm always doing stuff. I'm always taking care of the house. But I really want to be doing that kind of thing. Or you're like, I'm always doing this every day. If it's in the 6th house, I got to do this every day. But I really want to travel. That would mean your moon's in a different part of the chart. So your sun is who you are. The moon is what you want to be doing. It's where you want to be. And Venus is how you relate to others. So if you have your moon, and how you relate to others is an emotion. If the moon is in, say, Gemini, you want to communicate a lot. That's who you are. And your Venus is, I'm not describing this correctly. I'm not saying it. The sun is who you are, the moon is where you want to be, and Venus is what you attract and how you relate to others. Now, I'm a professional astrologer. I write the horoscopes for newspapers. So when I write the horoscopes for newspapers, and I'm talking about things like when you're lucky in love or when you're going to attract money, I'm looking at Venus. And Venus is the planet of attraction and it's the planet of how you want to relate to others in a harmonious and easy flowing way. So I'll say it again. If I'm writing the horoscopes for the newspaper, I'll be like, Gemini, Venus is in Gemini's second house, 1, 2. So Gemini is in a money cycle. Venus is in Cancer's first house, so Cancer wants to look good. First house is how you look. In Leo, it's behind Leo's natal sun. So this is all about Leo's attracting secret admirers. If it's for Capricorn, this is all about your relationships. You know, the people you hang out with every day. So for Capricorn, they are attracting people who want to marry them or want to start a business with them. For Pisces, this is the astro sector of dating and children. So Pisces are getting pregnant, and Pisces are having going out on lots of dates and having fun. And if I'm writing for the newspaper, that's how I look at Venus in your chart. However, that doesn't mean anything for you guys. Oh, great, Sunny. So what does that mean about me? Does that mean I'm gonna like blah 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 blah? Yes and no. The energy of the sign is what colors everything. So that's what it is. So Venus in Cancer is going to be, you're going to want to nurture people. You know, you're going to want to take care of everybody. You're going to want to make sure that the person feels loved and warmth and secure, and to know that they always have a home to come back to. Cancer grounds the entire zodiac. So it's your home base. Now, it might sound like I'm confusing things with the fourth house, but it's not. It's where you find emotional stability and emotional security. Taurus is where you find financial stability and financial security. Cancer is emotional. Believe it or not, even though Cancer is an oscillating sign, it's your changing mood, so to speak. Anyways, so that's Venus and how you relate to others. If Venus was in Scorpio, you'd want to have sex with everybody. You'd want to relate to everyone in a sexual kind of way. If Venus is in Aries, you want to relate to everybody in a competitive way. If Venus is in Gemini, we just talked about this yesterday, you're going to want to relate to everybody in a communicative, seeing all sides of everything kind of way. And in Cancer, you're going to want to look at it in a nurturing way. So that differentiates between how I look at Venus when I'm writing your horoscopes for the newspapers, or if I'm looking at your personal chart. And because you're not going to come to me and say, hey, Sunny, Venus, and what does it mean? Okay, well, it means, people ask me, hey, Sunny, when am I going to make money? Well, you're going to make money, I'm going to look at Venus. Hey, Sunny, when am I going to fall in love? I'm going to look at Venus. When am I attracting? That's a Venus kind of thing. And that's how I use Venus when I look at Venus in the when I'm reading your personal charts in a personal reading. Or, hey, Sunny, does this guy really like me, or is he playing me? Is he into me for my money, or Sunny, does this guy just want my money, or is he a real love? And I look at how certain planets interact with other planets in the two charts. Anyways, that's how I look at it as a professional astrologer. Now, everybody sit back and relax. Please subscribe to the channel. And just a reminder, we do have live streams every morning where I read your horoscopes, and at night where I read your tarot cards. All right, here we go. So now I'm going to read, this is going to take a while, so everybody chill out. I'm going to talk to you guys about Venus in Cancer according to what some of the other professional astrologers say. So, Julia and Derek Parker say this: Venus in Cancer, kindness, sympathy, the expression of true love and affection, and a high level of emotion are characteristic. A powerful protective instinct can at times create a claustrophobic atmosphere within a relationship. Oh yeah, Cancers are highly protective. They're nurturing, they're protective. A tendency to look nostalgically to the past is also frequent, and this may need conscious correcting if the subject is not to reach a stalemate due to their progressive changes. Again, Cancer is one of those signs that holds on to things. The crab claws on and they pull it into the deep water. And Cancers have remarkable memories. Ties of friendship will be long-lasting. love and affection will be focused on the home, right? Okay, that's a fourth house thing. It's not necessarily the sign. And a great deal of money will be spent carefully to make it comfortable, although often cluttered and untidy. Yeah, Cancer is a messy sign. Creative cooking and home crafts will be displayed with flair. A safe, steady growth of capital is preferred, and shrewd investments will be made with it when possible. Okay, now we'll go over that. So do you see what's happening here? These guys, Julia and Derek Parker, are sort of mixing the sign of Cancer with the fourth house. Cancer is nurturing, but it doesn't necessarily mean, it's, they're nurturing. So you have to watch out here. Anyways, but Cancer is good with money. They like to hold on to things, right? The crab grabs on and carries it into the deep water. Anyways, if the sun sign is Taurus, passion and sensuality are heightened, with love and affection actively shown. The emotional level is extremely high, and there may be storms and scenes at times. The subject must learn not to cling to loved ones after a relationship has ended. Look for logic in other areas of the chart. The position, okay, to see all that kind of stuff. So these guys are talking about the sun sign in Taurus and the Venus in Cancer. And so I'll say it again. If the sun sign is in Taurus, passion and sensuality are heightened, with love and affection actively shown. The emotional level is extremely high, and there may be storms and scenes at times, because Taurus can be demonstrative. Next, if the sun sign is Gemini, this Venus placement heightens. Okay, so if the sun is in Gemini and Venus is in Cancer, first off, that's Venus in Cancer, sun in Gemini. That guy's going to make a lot of money, first straight off. Next, this Venus placement heightens the level of Gemini's emotion, and provided the subject doesn't overly rationalize the feelings, these will be marvelously and romantically expressed, showing kindness and a cherishing quality. The sex life must be lively and stimulating. The subject is considerate and a good communicator with both friends and loved ones. Financial security can be gained from collecting old or unusual artifacts. Now, if the sun is in Cancer and the Venus is in Cancer, if the sun sign is Cancer, then the emotional force and expression of love are very powerful, but the inclination to worry over the partner and family is immense. And the Cancerian capacity for caring may also get out of hands with friends. Here, the qualities are very much as described for Venus in Cancer above. Shrewdness in business matters is a strong asset. So Cancer Sun, Cancer Venus, very good in business. If the sun sign is Leo, the emotional level is very high. This is a super dramatic Leo. But if the sun is in Leo and Venus is in Cancer, it also means it means love affairs. It means attraction from behind the scenes. It means people are going to be shy to walk up and say hello to this Leo. Okay, so what is it? If the sun sign is Leo, the emotional level is very high, and the subject needs a partner to look up to and admire. Otherwise, there'll be a tendency to dominate with a Leo bossiness that can be extremely harmful. Leo sensitivity is greatly increased. This individual will suffer more than seems possible. There will be a great appreciation of quality and the beautiful things in life, with a lot of money spent on them. Comfort, security, and quality are important. The sex life will be rich, rewarding, and imaginatively expressed. Here is a caring friend with the excellent organizational ability. Yeah, Venus in Cancer, Leos can be a little bit moody. It's tough because when Venus is behind the sun, it means your love affairs are not going to be public. They're going to be very private love affairs. You're going to harbor crushes on people. People are going to like you, but secret admirers kind of stuff. If the sun sign is Virgo, but the Venus is in Cancer, although there will be considerable emotional resources, there may be shyness and reserve in expressing the feelings. The imagination will be rich, but worry over the loved one's reactions can be inhibiting, especially in young people. There may be a tendency to criticize the partner or to be very moody. The household chores or hobbies can be used as an excuse for failing to enjoy the intimacies of a relationship. A clever business sense is likely, but sometimes meanness is present. So a Virgo with a Cancer Venus can be somewhat mean. And all right, next. Okay, so those are those guys. Next, Grant Lewis, and this is he's a very popular astrologer. These guys are all popular astrologers. So Grant says your emotional responses are related to a simple and direct standard, your need for security and a home. Since this is a basic life urge, your love is loyal and devoted, with a depth of self-preservation instinct, which does not, however, make you selfish. Selfish is a first house kind of thing. Venus in the first house can make you selfish. And a bit lazy. Your whole nature hides in a protective shell till you have taken the emotional steps that makes you secure. Then it unfolds graciously like a flower in the warm sun. The fear of being hurt by love, so Cancer, Venus in Cancer is afraid of being hurt by love, of being thus innerly insecure is very strong. You may seem sensitive and touchy, not to be superficial, not the superficial niceties, but anyways, you might seem sensitive and touchy. You can harness your emotions by making your own security, and so can be successful in business, right? So Venus in Cancer, successful in business. Okay. You like sentimental gestures only if you think they spring from sincerity. So these guys like sincerity. Okay, the forced kiss or the dutiful embrace mean nothing to you. You want people to be sincere in their emotions. Emotions are a big deal for Venus in Cancer. They want people to mean it. Your emotional polarity is not primarily physical, and though you can respond to adore, which is affection, you can take it or leave it alone. Yeah, Cancer doesn't just want it. They don't want the show. Venus in Cancer wants people who mean it. Next, Sydney Omar. In Cancer, Venus paints the picture of someone who wants security and love. This is a good one. Venus in Cancer wants security and love. His needs are basic: shelter, love, protection. The best for his loved ones. His standards are really high, but the drive, fire, and ambition to obtain his desires is often lacking. The astrologer, which is me, must shake him up. The person is sentimental and sincere. He feels silly wasting time on people or things which do not interest him. Thus, he tends to arouse antagonism among those who feel he's merely being rude. So Venus in Cancer people can easily come across as rude, so you got to watch that. Okay, here we go. Interesting stuff. So Lynn is up here, Lynn Burbeck, and she's going to talk about Venus in Cancer, but as you see, she's really going to talk about the fourth house here. She's mixing Cancer and the fourth house. It says, love for you is something that is very dependent on home, family, and security. No matter how wild or adventurous you may think you are, a case of love me, love my family, and loving others' family would be just as important. You see, that's all fourth house stuff. Fourth house is your family. Cancer is nurturing. The sign is how. The house is what. And she's focusing on the what. So she's kind of focusing on the fourth house right now. How you relate to the family is nurturing. If you have Aries in the fourth house, you'd be competitive with your family. Cancer in the fourth house is nurturing your family. And so that's just showing you guys the difference between the house and the sign here. And she's kind of talking about the sign. So anyways, it says you attract, because Venus is attraction, right? You will attract with tenderness and a familiar charm that makes others feel both excited and comfortable, with an extremely caring and compassionate nature that protects and nurtures others, and with a domestic skills such as cooking, decor, and warm hospitality. It says, but a Cancer with a Scorpio in the fourth house is going to have a very Spartan home, just saying. Anyways, you repel with a misuse of your ability to get inside others in the forms of emotional blackmail. Venus in Cancer, they are passive-aggressive, and they play the emotional blackmail game. And they do have a suffocating and clingy neediness that makes others want to get away. It's funny. It says you're attracted to others who appreciate the importance of home and family. Once again, this is a 4th house thing. But really, Cancer, Venus in Cancer, you're attracted to people who take care of other people with a sincerity and a caring. Venus in Cancer, they're attracted to people who care. Okay. Next, you are repelled by brashness or a rejection of anything or anyone that you feel, for being made to feel unwelcome or taken for granted. You don't like people. None of the water signs like injustice in life. Even a Scorpio. Scorpio's not going to knock you down unless they think you deserve it. The problem is Scorpio's crazy. They think you deserve anything. You look at them wrong, they think you deserve it. Anyways, it says, when you are alone, it could be that you have done to others the very things that you cannot bear being done to you. Taken them for granted in some way. So Venus in Cancer has to watch out, because Venus very much can smother, but they oscillate, right? Their moods change. So on one hand, they smother, and then they take off. And, because Venus in all Cancer energy, the timing for all Cancer energy is always wrong. Cancer is the worst timing of the entire zodiac. That when you leave, people can feel like you've taken them for granted. And as such, they, if someone leaves, Venus in Cancer has so much to give someone else, so much emotional warmth and stability. The bottom of the zodiac is the stability. It's what creates a stable part of the zodiac. And so you give and you give and you give, but then you need a break. So you take a break, but you take it at the worst time. And then the guy's going to think like, hey, what the hell's with this chick? And then he's going to hit the boogie. And that's what happens with Venus in Cancer. All right, let's get rid of Lynn Burback, because she's talking more about the house than the sign. And we're going to do a thing on the houses soon enough. Next, John Towley says, for Venus in Cancer, your appetite for love is very strong, but you do not usually satisfy it in a regular, even way. Rather, it builds up for a long period of time, and when it does find release, it's often quite explosive. This happens partially because you're unwilling or unable to let your partner know your desires until the internal pressure has become very great. That's why you see Cancers, they're like, and then they jump on you. Cancers will jump on you. It's really funny. Cancers pounce when they're in love. They're like, I love it. I love it. I love Cancer. Well, SLC is a Cancer, right? I super love SLC. All right. Anyways, we're talking about Venus in Cancer. It's better to work out a clear system of communication so you'll not suffer frustration because your partner is unaware of your needs. Well, that's the thing. Cancer is the only sign of the zodiac that the crab is the sign that doesn't have a neck. So Cancers are the worst sign in the entire zodiac for verbally communicating. But Cancer is one of the most expressive signs of the zodiac. So once you learn how to read Cancer's signs, once you learn to communicate with someone with a lot of Cancer energy, you will, they're the masters of nonverbal communication. So they don't always say what they mean. Or they say what they mean, they don't always articulate their desires. And this is super triple true for a Venus in Cancer. For you, love at its best is an all-encompassing experience in which you completely possess and dissolve into your lover in such a way that the barriers between your personalities are washed away. In everyday life as well, you look for total devotion from your lover, and you will give it. Yeah, Venus in Cancer is a big deal. Although your style of loving is very intense and exhilarating, it can also devolve into a dependency that's not healthy for either personality. True devotion must rest on mutual strength and trust between equals, so you should avoid the sometimes natural desire to totally own or be owned by your lover. Such roles... Okay, so that's what's going on. Next, Robert Hand. And this is a pretty... Robert Hand goes on and on and on. And you guys should know Robert Hand. He's a popular... he writes a lot of this stuff all over the place for a ton of different websites. Robert Hand says, you like to be very close to people, and you need to have an especially affectionate relationship with your parents. You always want to be sure that you can count on someone for emotional support. At the same time, you're willing to give the same support to anyone you love. You may not have lots of friendships or love relationships, but you don't need to. All you need is a very few good ones. If you decide that no one loves you, you may be desperate to find a friend to give you moral support. The only problem here is that if you feel unloved and insecure, you'll be very jealous and possessive, especially if they pay attention to someone else. This may lead to a rivalry with your brothers and sisters for your parents' attention, if you feel unsure about your parents' feelings towards you. Nevertheless, when you like someone, you like that person a lot, and you show it. You are a very faithful friend, and you will never do anything to hurt someone you like unless that person hurts you first, in which case you are very likely to strike back. Let's not forget, Cancer is a violent sign. Okay, they are. Your relationship with your mother will be especially important, and as you get older, it may be hard to break away from her apron strings, although you won't want to admit it. However, if you have a good relationship with her, your relationship throughout life will be good. Next, here we go. Keywords: imaginative, home-loving, warm and caring, supportive and sensitive. When Venus is placed in the cardinal water sign of Cancer, an inordinate need to love and be loved fuels an immense insecurity from which most of their actions emanate. Oh, okay. This looks like an essay here. But so Venus in Cancer can be very insecure because they don't want to be hurt. Since Cancer is ruled by the moon, the maternal principle here dominates the way they perceive themselves and the nature of their relationships. On the positive side, these nurturing individuals provide others with a strong, secure, emotional cushion, as well as a comforting, flourishing home environment, endowed with emotional strength and the ability to hold things together. They often attract individuals in need of intellectual, spiritual, and/or financial support. Once again, Cancer will grab on and pull you into the deep waters and hold you there. Mind you, the deep, you could also, if you're not cool with hanging out in the deep waters, you're going to drown. Just saying. Venus in Cancer can easily drown you. You can drown under their love. Oh yeah, and Cancer, Ipapoi in the chat here, remember that I'm recording the video live with the chat here. Ipapoi is saying the Cancers, that one of the videos we talk about how Cancers howl at the moon. Oh yeah, Cancer is like by far and away, they howl at the moon. They love their moon. They love their moon. But why wouldn't you? The moon is right there. They can see it. It's so big. It's not like one of the... They see it. Cancers can see their luminary in the sky. They can feel it. It's right there and it changes. They're like, it's so beautiful. Sunny, look at the moon. Look at the moon. Look at the moon. And they're always doing it, you know. They love looking at the moon. And everybody loves looking at the moon. But to Cancers, you know, they feel it. It's theirs. They take possession. They own the moon. It's their moon. They love it. Sunny, look at the moon. It's beautiful. I'm a double Scorpio. I'll be like, yeah, the rock's nice. Can we okay. Anyways, Venus in Cancer. They're amazingly loyal and attentive. Once together, they snip on and they're pulling you down. They're not going to let go. These generally insecure people will stop at nothing to keep their families intact, and in the process, frequently become unnecessarily overprotective. If Venus is poorly aspected, they can even be secretive, controlling, and manipulative, often defensive, pessimistic, definitely pessimistic, and at its most extreme, paranoid. They often live in constant fear that they will be deserted by loved ones, or lose their money, or that their creativity will dissipate. Instead of being secure in the knowledge that they are loved simply for who they are, these people often try too hard to create the type of environment for which their partners dare not leave. Venus in Cancer will do almost anything for their partner. Like, seriously, almost anything. They're one of the most subjugated parts of the entire zodiac. To solidify a marriage that was already on the rocks, this guy talks about some of his clients. One client with Venus in Cancer even installed a music studio for his wife, a singer, in their beautiful home, only to be totally devastated when she eventually left him. Oh, this is so funny. Anyways, this codependent behavior in one person, trying to control the emotional climate of another, it creates a bit of dependency. You have to watch out on that. Now, while romanticism is indeed an asset to their creativity, it may also be responsible for their completely unrealistic attitudes concerning those they love. A desperate need to form a family unit, coupled with a lack of faith in their capacity to maintain relationships, frequently precipitates idealism of the partner and the creation of an unequal partnership. So these guys, Venus in Cancer, are easily taken advantage of. Just like Venus in Taurus can be taken advantage of financially, like Venus in Taurus are highly susceptible to gold diggers, and Venus in Cancer are highly susceptible to people who just want to take care of them, just want to use them for whatever, money, sex, personal gain, anything. They're very easily taken advantage of. Unlike Venus in Gemini, the creativity of introspective Venus in Cancer is marked by romantic idealism and vivid imagination. Due to an affinity with the home as well as the intricacies of computer technology, they have a talent for real estate, interior design, computer graphics, and programming. Oh yeah, we didn't say this yet. Venus in Cancer is highly artistic. All of the water signs are highly artistic. Venus, shows you where you're going to be artistic and how you're going to be artistic, and it happens in a Cancerian kind of way. Okay. Because they constantly question their talents, they are overly sensitive to the opinions of others, and as a result, Venus in Cancer people are often very secretive about their work and creative ideas until it is certain they will be met with approval. Because this placement represents the attainment of self-esteem through their roles as spouses and parents, Venus in Cancer men whose attributes include fierce loyalty, dependability, and devotion to their loved ones have heretofore, why would they say that? So, this is an interesting one. Okay. Because of this, Venus in Cancer men are often considered unmanly because of their devotion to their loved ones. They're not macho, except Venus in Cancer men look macho. They look macho, but they don't behave macho. Anyways, with the distinction between male and female roles narrowing, these sensitive and artistic men may soon be admired and even envied for their emotional attachment and compassion. So Venus in Cancer men become very emotionally attached, and when it feeds back upon them and society doesn't look upon them in a favorable light, they can be dependent upon alcohol. So remember, because they're a water sign, they can succumb to drugs and alcohol. Remember, Venus, Cancer is nurturing, taking care, and they develop a dependency. The negative side of Venus in Cancer, the positive side is nurturing, the negative side is dependency. So you can develop a dependency if someone isn't there. If you have succumbed to the negative side of Venus in Cancer or the negative side of Cancerian energy, you're going to move from being nurturing to being dependent. And you can be dependent upon someone, or you can be dependent upon something. And as a result, it's very easy for these people to become alcoholics and drug addicts, or workaholics, or rageaholics, or freakaholics. So it's interesting. It's interesting. You have to be careful. Next. You guys still with me here? Martin Schulman. Here we go. Okay, Martin Schulman. Here, the individual learns the lessons of emotional love. Emotional is taking care of other people. Remember, there's a difference between emotions and feelings in astrology. He is intuitive, sensitive, warm, and affectionate, with a natural sense of feeling for all that's occurring around him. This, along with his deep understanding of loyalty and devotion. Are you guys catching all this? These are the key words here. Loyalty and devotion makes him the natural emotional center of his family. They're also really good with money. Cancers are good with money. He provides the nostalgic memories of tender moments from the past and the sincere warmth which gives a sense of continuity to those close to him. Yet, he has difficulty drawing the line between affection and attachment. Venus here rules the early preschool years, when the clinging child is extremely dependent upon mother. Unless an effort is made to overcome early patterning, this person can easily develop a dependency neurosis. All right, so they can develop, dependency issues, and it makes it difficult for him to travel far from the home because they're dependent. And it's not just as a kid. It means very often in life, whatever they become dependent upon, it becomes a problem. Now, just like the other signs, I'm going to talk about what they call the yod. The yod in astrology, now there are different aspects in astrology. Popular ones are trines and squares and conjunctions and oppositions and sometimes sextiles, but there are other arrangements which are equally important. And I did a thing on this a long time ago, and I used to talk about it, calling it angles of attraction, or not, I didn't call that, it was called angles of influence. And that's in my thing that I did called angles of influence, and I used to have workshops about it. I talk about how different angles in astrology create different types of tension, and they have to be released in different ways. In addition to that, there are things you can do standing face to face with someone at different angles, which will affect how their mood and their reaction to what you're saying. Anyways, I called it angles of influence, and if you want, there's a video on that somewhere. So anyways, this one is talking about the yod, and the yod angle in astrology is also known as an inconjunct, and there are two inconjuncts, and this forms what they call the finger of God. And the yod in astrology is a very powerful kind of alignment, and it's what the sign has to learn from the other signs to achieve fulfillment. And it's called an inconjunct. So you go to the opposite sign, and it's each sign on the opposite of the opposite. So for Cancer, the opposite is Capricorn. So we're going to talk about Sagittarius and Aquarius. Sagittarius and Aquarius form the yod, or finger of God, which is the lessons that have to be learned for Venus in Cancer. And I hope this makes sense. And for Cancer energy in general. The yod to this Venus placement is formed by the inconjuncts of Sagittarius and Aquarius, the two most freeing signs of the zodiac. I'll say it again. Sagittarius and Aquarius are the two most, freedom-loving signs of the zodiac. Sagittarius symbolizes man's free spirit, the enthusiasm and enjoyment of traveling great distances, and the ability to encounter new and foreign experiences, which enrich the mind and broaden one's outlook on life. From this sign, Sagittarius, so these are the lessons that the Venus in Cancer, their Cancer has to learn. From Sagittarius, Venus in Cancer learns how to expand their lifestyle by a higher form of understanding and knowledge gained through either education or studies of philosophy and religion, or through traveling. Sagittarius teaches Cancer to get out, to leave the house, to go see the world, that it's not here. Venus in Cancer develops dependency issues. Sagittarius is the most freedom-loving sign. Next, Venus in Cancer, these individuals, they have a sensitive attunement to nature and a natural law, along with a great affinity for the environmental beauty. Yet, to realize this, he must learn that through the sun sign Aquarius, yet to realize all of this that Cancer loves, they have to realize this through Sagittarius, the ways in which the broad and expansive understandings provide a more realistic base for all he needs in life than to the confining scope of early childhood dependencies. In other words, Cancer loves nature. If you guys ever met a Cancer who doesn't love animals, seriously, come on. This is like the thing. If you want to seduce a Cancer, all you got to do is go walk up and pick a puppy up off the street. And there you go. You got to go be nice to a stray dog. Cancer is going to love you for life. That's all you have to do. You got to that's all you have to do. If you want a Cancer to fall in love with you, say you have a puppy. That is that simple. But Cancer has to learn not to smother, and that's the lesson they learn from Sagittarius. They learn from Sagittarius not to smother, and Aquarius teaches them to let go. Okay. From the sign Aquarius, he must learn how to trust friendships, which give him a base of acceptance outside of his immediate family. This teaches him to understand how relationships evolve, not through clinging or possessiveness, but rather through fairness and objectivity, and the humane sense of freedom through which individuals learn the importance of giving each other space to think, feel, and to be children of the universe. The sextile from Sagittarius to Aquarius, okay, so Sagittarius and Aquarius sextile each other. That's another angle in astrology. It shows the expansion of consciousness possible when the individual realizes that his personal feelings must come from his attunement to the greater cosmic whole. The unconscious mother attachments in early childhood must be externalized so that the person feels the guiding principles of human nature, which is Sagittarius, as the mother of his ability to trust the outside world, and impersonal fairness of life, which is Aquarius. All right, what else is going on here? The loyal, so we're talking about the yod formed and what Venus in Cancer, and all Cancer for that matter, has to learn from Sagittarius and Aquarius. It's one of the angles in astrology. The loyal and patriotic feelings of the Venus in Cancer placement become broadened to the ideals and principles which are the very essence of life's meanings. The individual discovers that it's these very ideals and principles that he must hold on to, rather than the individuals who taught them to him. Do you see that? So it teaches the Venus in Cancer to learn on to grasp onto the ideas, not smother the person. At the same time, there's no excuse for bad behavior, and Venus in Cancer people are easily taken advantage of, so you got to watch out for that. They're one of the most easily taken advantage of people in the entire zodiac. The home to which he is so attached becomes a nesting place within himself, from which he is able to open his feelings to the stream of cosmic understanding that is flowing through him. All right, next. Oh wow, we have a bunch. Some of these guys go on and on and on. There are two or three more, but you guys are going to want to hear what some of these say. So, Marcia Moore and Mark Douglas now. We have a little bit of time left. We'll do a little bit more. So Marcia Moore and Mark Douglas, they say, affections are maternal and sympathetic. Okay. The symbol is a woman who decorates a cake with pink sugar roses. All right. Feminine Venus fares well in moon-ruled Cancer because both are concerned with the processes of reproduction and growth. All right. People born with this placement are sentimental and affectionate with strong family ties, especially to the mother. Money and property are apt to come from the maternal side of the family. Both the strengths and weaknesses of Venus in Cancer are those associated with the female of the species. Okay. Negatively, the combination may mean a predisposition towards possessiveness and susceptibility to flattery, shyness, and excessive emotionalism. It gives a tendency to stay in one place and wait for good fortune to arrive, rather than to actively pursue coveted objects and objectives. Right? Remember, Venus, where Venus is in your chart, that makes you lazy. All right? Just a reminder. Those who commit, unless it's aspected by someone, it's where you're going to be lazy. Now, on the positive side, it's the desire to be desirable implies cultivation of virtues of charity and kind-heartedness. Venetian Cancerians, what the hell? People with Venus in Cancer, they want to be cherished and admired for their good qualities. They long for peace and quiet in their home sphere, where they make loyal, contented partners. They are competent cooks and excel in the domestic arts. That's a fourth house thing. The passivity of Cancer tends to soften the emotional nature of the person born with Venus in this sign. It can be hard for those gentle souls to resist the advances of aggressive personalities. Right, so that's why you see aggressive signs with soft signs, because it's easy to bully cancers. Cancers are easily bullied, and it's easy for cancers to end up with, bullies. It's very easy for cancers to be taken advantage of once again, especially Venus in Cancer. Being inclined to over generosity in the bestowal of their affections, they need to protection against their own tender instincts, but they can allow loved ones to take advantage of their willingness to oblige. They are often well advised to seek occupations such as teaching or nursing, which afford a relatively objective outlet for their easily tapped feelings. The effect of earthy Venus dissolving into the waters of Cancer can be too sweetly sensuous to be altogether safe in this predatory world. Strong discipline is needed to counteract a love of comfort which can degenerate into the craving for luxury. And once again, Venus in the first house is definitely makes someone lazy. Venus in Cancer women feel instinctively that good food and domestic facility keeps the conjugal flames growing, or the conjugal flames glowing, and seeks through their skill in anticipating the wishes of her mate to attach him to her by the strands of her affection. Similarly, a man with this combination appreciates the romantic potential of a candlelight dinner and a tastefully appointed setting. Both sexes are attracted to art, music, and literature, especially of a fanciful or erotic or exotic gesture. Beauty is not a luxury but a necessity in their lives, and their appetite for pleasing sights and sounds can be more insistent than physical hunger. Right. These guys are romantic, right? The moon is romantic. Okay. People with a strong Moon-Venus accent in their natal charts are popular and often beloved. They are regarded kindly by all who are drawn within their aura of charm, grace, and personal magnetism, and they are seldom emotionally assertive, right? Remember, Venus in Aries, they're aggressive lovers. Venus in Cancer are nurturing lovers. All right, next, now a couple of short ones. Isabel Hickey. Here is sentimentality rather than strong or ardent affection. Venus in this sign is plastic, kind, gentle, receptive, changeable. Ooh, wrong word. It should be aggressive. Venus in Cancer is a cardinal sign. They are not passive. They are passive aggressive. It's different. They are aggressive, but they're passive aggressive. It's a spectrum in astrology. So once again, their cardinal energy. Venus in Cancer are aggressive type lovers, but it's different. It's not like Aries. It's passive aggressive. All right. Here is sentimentality rather than strong or ardent affection. See? Passive aggressive. The basic need is security, whether it's exemplified by dependency on a person or on material possessions. Venus in Cancer operates subconsciously, so it is completely emotional and instinctive in its dependency, and its search for security never ends. Loyalty to the family is strong, despite her tenacity when this emotional life is frustrated or blocked. Venus in this sign is susceptible to depleting diseases, right? Because they're always giving, always giving. If the love life is not satisfactory, this Venus in this sign can have psychological indigestion. What the hell? Who talks like... Okay, I talk like this. Okay. Next. Donna Van Torn. She says, you can express your feminine side in the traditional sense very well. This means if you're a woman, you may be somewhat timid or passive. But again, it's passive-aggressive. It's not passive. And are possibly looking for a traditional relationship. If you're a man, you may be the strong, silent type. And again, you're probably looking for a traditional relationship. Venus in Cancer has a tendency to fear rejection and therefore tends to need a lot of security. Once love blooms, the relationship tends to be very intense. Venus in Cancer likes it that way. Okay, there's one more and it's long, so I'm just going to do a little bit. It's Jeff Green. and he says some interesting things. Oh man, Karen's psychological introduction. Okay. So Jeff Green says, as a pre-existing pattern of interrelatedness, the Venus in Cancer person comes into life fundamentally insecure. This insecurity is based on and caused by the nature of the emotional reality, which is like a tornado of different swirling emotional states that seem to come and go on their own volition. That seem to be beyond the control of the individual. Inwardly, as a result, the Venus in Cancer person feels that he or she is standing on ever-shifting sands. These people feel deeply insecure because the nature of their emotional state and the need that these states create cannot be inwardly controlled. The inner cross currents of different emotions converge and combine in ways that create moments in which they can be stable and secure in one moment and highly insecure in the next moment, right? Cancers oscillate, their emotions oscillate, so they go from secure to insecure very quickly. And Venus internalizes what we like in ourselves, we like in others. Just like Mars, what we dislike in ourselves, we dislike in others. And so it's the whole point of the Venus sign. You attract what you like. And so, not necessarily what you like. The moon is where you want to be. That's what you like. Venus is, it's not like, I'm getting tired. This is a long time in the heat here. Okay, let's get back. The intentions of souls who have Venus in Cancer has been and is to inwardly know and relate to themselves as emotional beings. The knowing of themselves through the ever-shifting cross-currents of different emotional states produces an inner confusion because of the different self-images that each emotional state induces. And each emotional state dictates needs that are motivated by the desire to feel secure, to feel safe, and to be stabilized. Inwardly, these individuals feel highly vulnerable and insecure. Typically, they're related to themselves from moment to moment. Each emotion defines their inner psychology on an ongoing basis. Inwardly, there's a fundamental desire to be taken care of, to be nurtured by someone who they can trust. And I'll say it again. Cancers dote on other people. They nurture other people because they need to be nurtured themselves. And once you understand that, you'll realize that this is, this is what Cancer needs. It's what gives them life. It's what feeds their chi. In my old workshops, we were talking earlier today about the book I wrote a long time ago called Emotional Weight Loss. In my book, Emotional Weight Loss, we talk about the different parts of your makeup. The body eats food. The brain eats ideas. It eats books. If you have your mind, body, and soul, or your emotional state, imagine them as three different children lining up there. The physical state eats physical things. The physical part of you needs food. The intellectual part of you needs, if you desire knowledge, if you want to know something about someone, or if you want to know something, going to the fridge and making a peanut butter sandwich is not going to help your intellectual hunger. It's not going to satiate your desire for knowledge. If you have an emotional hunger, if you have an emotional hunger for something, having a sandwich is not going to feed that emotional hunger. Reading a book is not going to satiate that emotional desire within you. And just like if you have an intellectual desire, an intellectual hunger, they say laughter is food for the soul. So if you go to a comedy club, it's not going to satiate your intellectual desire. If you go to a comedy club, you're still going to leave physically hungry. Each part of you is like three different children. They're all part of the same, but they all are nourished differently. Your mind, body, and soul are interconnected. If one person does something good, they all benefit. But at the same time, if you feed, if you have an emotional hunger and you feed it books, you're going to emotionally starve to death. Anyways, what I'm saying is, for Venus in Cancer, this is how they feed their emotional state. And if you don't feed your emotional state, then all parts of your mind, body, and soul, your entire concept, your chi, your life force energy, will wither, it will diminish, it will suffocate, and it will starve to death. And you'll eventually wither away. And that's it. So that's what's going on here. Venus in Cancer people have an inherent emotional expectation that's projected into the relationships. All right. Anyways, that's going on and on. That's going on. So to sum up, they will attract others who, right, Venus's attraction, they will attract others who encourage them to be responsible for themselves. And they will naturally encourage others to be responsible for themselves. Thereby, the inner child lives in a very positive and healthy way because it's now taking responsibility for its actions. And that's the action, guys. That's another long Venus video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, please subscribe to the channel. Please drop by one of the live streams. And if you drop by, please say, what's up? If you'd like a personal reading, just check it out in the description box below on how to do all that kind of stuff. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And that's the action. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Remember, Venus is what you attract in astrology, and it's also how you want to relate to other people. And that's the action. And I just, remember, it's always a beautiful day to be beautiful. It's together that makes it and it's together that it's a beautiful day. And there's also love in your chart every single day. You just have to know where to look. And that's my job. I'm your astrologer. From TheSunnySide.net, I'm Sunny, wishing all Venus in Cancers the absolute best of a super beautiful day. And I'll see you guys soon.